Travis back here with a video. This is the first video I've dropped since Easter Sunday. It's been a really long time. It's now October 21st of 2020. So definitely just start off, I want to apologize because at the beginning of the year in the spring when COVID was first really hitting and I was sent home from school, there was hope of being able to do a lot of videos and have a lot of footage and be able to do a bunch of different riding, and I had plans to just ride all over the place and was planning on going racing, and none of that really happened. It was just a turbulent summer. To kind of start off and explain what was going on, if you guys remember, I'm pretty sure it was like episode 7 or 8 that I had when I was having issues with my 450, and I thought after doing the research and everything it was just the Kickstarter gear. And so my dad and I were doing some more research, and he was going back to work and I was just going back to work, so we really couldn't look at it right away. So after we had some time, my dad and I were kind of checking it out, and I ordered a Kickstarter gear and it ended up being the wrong one. So I sent it back and ended up just taking the whole kickstart assembly out because my dad didn't really think that that was the issue. So he's like, let's just take the whole Kickstarter assembly out and we're gonna bump start the bike, and if it continues to cut out or whatever, obviously we know it's something internal with the engine, probably your crank bearings or something. So we ended up doing that, got the bike bump started, let it warm up. I rode it behind the house for like a couple minutes and then it stalled out on me, so we knew that it was done for. So pushed it back to the house and I sat in the garage for a while, and after I was working over the summer at my summer job, got enough money, I ordered the rebuild kit for it, and the rebuild kit sat in the garage for about 3.5 weeks until my dad and I had enough time and actually had like one full weekend off of work to work on it. And my cousin Steven came up and he helped us do the motor rebuild too. So I appreciate him helping my dad and I out, because just having some extra hands and some extra eyes to kind of see all the little parts and make sure we have everything is always a plus. But anyway, so what ended up happening, my oil pump failed and it made everything in the bottom end get hot, and the bearings were expanding when the bike would get hot, and it wasn't getting enough lubrication and it was making the bike shut down. So we rebuilt it, got it all back together. We had some issues at first. The cams weren't timed exactly correct, and then we got that figured out, and then the bike was finally running, and then it ran for a minute, and then I remember after we finally got it running, it ran for like a minute or two, and then it cut out and it made this big tung noise. So I don't know what that was about, and I figured it was the Kickstarter assembly still, because the Kickstarter was real hard to kick, and just the way it stopped, it was scary. So I ended up waiting and getting a whole new Kickstarter assembly, which was another $200 bill on top of the $800 bill I already had to get the bike rebuilt. And so we put that in, and I came home from work early one day, and my dad, we had to, after we put the cases back together and everything, my dad had the Permatex on the case sides or whatever when you put it together, and it was drying up. So there wasn't any oil in it yet. So I came home, I put oil in the motor, and it was, everything was good, and started the bike up. warmed up fine, everything else. And then I shut it off. I went inside, put my gear on. I was super excited to finally get to ride the bike. And then I took off and got a few hundred yards away from the house, and rear tire locked up on me. And immediately I was super scared. So I just pushed the bike back to the house, put it away. And at that point I was like, man, this bike's becoming more of a headache than anything. Like, I'm really starting to not enjoy this. I've already put $1,000 into this thing, and I still can't ride it. So my dad came home from work and a few days later, and I didn't know why the rear tire locked up. The engine wasn't making any noise or nothing. And he had me pull it outside and start it up right in the driveway. And as soon as I started it up, I just heard this awful clanging noise coming from the top end. And I ended up coming to find out that my automatic cam chain tensioner for the cam chain had failed, and it wasn't putting any pressure on the chain guide, so the chain was just flopping around in there. So I had to get a manual cam chain tensioner, and we had to take the valve cover off and make sure the timing wasn't off or anything, which it wasn't. Luckily, it didn't move. So put the new tensioner on, and then after that I was finally able to ride the bike, thankfully. And then I think it was like a week or two later, right before I moved back down here for school, my cousin Steven and his family came up, and we actually went out and rode on the ORV trails for pretty much like one entire day. We started off in Oscoda and rode over there for a little bit, and the trails were like really bad because we were riding some like single track trails and stuff, and there was a lot of trees down, so we had to do a lot of maneuvering and getting off the trail and get back on the trail. So we said forget this, and we loaded the bikes up, and we went over to South Branch and rode the 50-inch or less trails over there, and we honestly had a blast. The bike ran flawlessly the whole time. I ended up putting 3.7 hours on it, and then I came down to making the real tough decision to go ahead and list the bike for sale. I'll get more into that in another video that I'm going to make here shortly. But yeah, it was a tough decision to make for me, but it was best for me. And so I've listed it for sale on Facebook Marketplace, and within like 4 hours, somebody from Twining, Michigan got a hold of me and was really interested in coming to look at it. And I was just back in school for like the first week or two. So I was down here in Mount Pleasant, and my dad was back at home, and he was working when the guy wanted to come look at it. And then my dad ended up getting home at a somewhat decent time, and the guy came over and looked at it and wanted it. So I ended up getting $3,000 cash for the 450. It was kind of bittersweet, you know. I wasn't really planning on selling it right at first, because I mean, I just put $1,100 into the motor to get it running again, and it was running perfectly. It was having no issues whatsoever. So it was kind of tough, but it was the right thing to do for me. And like I said, I'll discuss that in another video that I'm going to make and post here within the next day or two. But moving on from that, yeah, I just wanted to kind of update you guys and let you guys know how off this whole summer was for me. And I'm sure it was off for a lot of other people in the moto community due to COVID-19. Because I got my bike back together, and my cousin Steven and his family were going to come up. We were actually going to go up to Dirt Inc. in Lincoln, where I raced all summer in 2019 with them. Somebody had taken over the track, and we were actually supposed to have 2 races at the end of the year. They were going to have one, I think it was the first or second weekend in August, and then the first weekend in September or something like that. And they ended up getting canceled due to COVID. So those plans were out, and I didn't even really ride that much this summer because I didn't have a bike. So it was definitely a bummer summer for me. I wish I would have went a little bit differently, but it is what it is. Learned a couple things, and definitely looking forward to 2021, being able to actually, flourish with the channel, be able to put out good amounts of videos and footage for everyone like I was anticipating to do this summer. And because I had some good momentum and I was starting off pretty good, and I felt confident about everything, and then all my plans kind of shattered once I started having issues with the bike, and then it just had a snowball effect from there. So like I said, I'm gonna make another video on why I got rid of my bike, and also just to update you guys too, I'll probably, maybe like next spring or something, I'm gonna talk to my dad about it, kind of doing like a little review video on his new ride. He ended up picking up 2019 Yamaha YZ250X 2-stroke, and I gotta tell you, that bike's pretty fun. It's definitely a different kind of 2-stroke, so I'm hoping maybe next spring he'll let me ride it on state land or even just behind the house for a little bit and get some GoPro footage on it and just kind of do a little bit of a review on it, show you guys what I think about it. And I just feel like it'd be something cool and different to do with the channel. So I'm glad I was able to update you guys, let you guys know what happened this summer and kind of why I disappeared and wasn't really doing any videos or anything. I wanted to make an update a lot sooner than I did, but obviously I was working a lot over the summer, and then I moved back into school, so I've been doing all my college work and everything, and been trying to find some ways to make some money, because I got the money, of course, from selling my 450, but also need to make a little bit more and put some more away, because I really want to get a nice bike for my next ride. So I hope you guys stay tuned. Thank you guys for sticking with me. I know it's been a really long time. I can't believe I waited from Easter till almost Halloween to post another video. But like I said, I've had, this summer was just an off summer with everything going on in the world right now, and there's a lot I've had going on with school and to think about with that, and election time's coming up, so it's just a crazy time right now for us. But I hope you guys stay tuned for more videos that I'm gonna plan to put out. With winter time coming, and with me not having a bike, I'm really not gonna have a whole lot of videos or footage to put out. I think I might this winter, just to kind of mix it up, might do some videos if I go out riding on the snowmobiles or something with my dad, or if my Uncle Doug and his friend Steve come up. I might throw some footage up on the channel of that, just to kind of mix it up and have some footage, something for you guys to watch. So again, I'm sorry that this summer didn't go as planned, and I hope you guys like and subscribe down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.